Yeah.
Well, my name is Taylor Chalmers. I run a junk removal company here in Dallas with a close friend of mine. And when I say junk removal company, basically we're a full-service junk removal company, meaning we come to homes, offices, industrial buildings, and we remove unwanted items, meaning whether it be appliances, office equipment, furniture, electronic refuse, debris, renovation debris, basically anything you need removed. And we try to recycle about as much as we can. About 60% of what we take in gets reused, donated, or recycled. The other 40% usually goes to the landfill and is taken care of in an environmentally safe way as possible. We've been operating here in Dallas for about a year and a half. We started March of '09. We were the 16th franchise in the country, and now there's about 35 franchises in the country so far. We give a portion of our sales to college scholarships, and we're one of 2 national franchises that serve this country.
That's awesome. How did y'all get started, like, with this current venture?
Well, basically the company was started about 6 years ago out of Washington, D.C. 2 friends, lifelong friends, kind of started as a high school summer job. They used the parents' van to sort of make clients and see who needed things removed, and sooner or later they sort of had a summer business going. They both ended up going to college, one to Pomona in California and the other to University of Miami, where one of them sort of entered in this entrepreneurial competition their business plan for what was eventually going to be called College Hunks Hauling Junk, which is the name of our company. And it's basically a company where they do full service junk removal, except they hire clean cut collegiate teams to run the company. And there's a sort of branding niche there that everyone sort of liked, and on top of the business model, it ended up winning the competition, and they won about $35,000 from this competition. And then both of them went and started working for a while before they decided they wanted to turn this venture into a giant organization, into a large company, possibly even franchise at one point. And so we basically found this company and thought it would be a great company to apply to the market for Dallas, and that's what we did.
Right. Did y'all pick it? I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to believe there was nothing like that in Dallas before. Did you always see yourself hauling junk, or how did you decide to pick that franchise?
Definitely not. I guess I graduated from Southern Methodist University back in May of '08, and I was working for an oil and gas brokerage firm for about 6 months afterwards, which is sort of more what I saw myself doing. And then I ran across this company, and it seemed sort of interesting, the idea of the junk removal business in general. And on top of that, the branding behind the College Hunks Hauling Junk seemed pretty strong. And I threw the idea towards a friend of mine, Oliver Blodgett, who I've known for my whole life pretty much. And he was finishing up school at George Washington in D.C. And he liked the idea as well, and he was planning on working for a real estate finance firm in D.C. before we both sort of decided to terminate and go ahead with the idea. And like I said, we lifted off and started operating about May of '09. I haven't really looked back since.
That's awesome. Well, obviously, like, being an entrepreneur is definitely a lot different than the typical jobs a lot of people our age have. What do you like the most about being an entrepreneur?
Well, you're obviously avoiding the cubicle, which is nice. Most of our friends graduating usually go straight towards that, which I did as well. One thing that's nice about being an entrepreneur is obviously you have a more flexible schedule. That being said, your work time and your play time, if you will, are sort of all the same. They're intermingled. You're sort of always working. When you own a small business, there's always something to be done, as is with any business, and so it can be stressful at times, but it's really rewarding in the sense that you get to watch it grow, and you get to watch it grow due to things, direct response of things that you've done in order to make the company grow.
Right. I guess when y'all started out, you and Oliver were kind of actually driving the truck and doing all the advertising and everything on your own. Like, y'all have grown a lot since then, and what methods have y'all used to like get the word out about the junk removal business?
Well, yeah, like you said, in the beginning it was just all overnight before we sort of started staffing. We wanted to get to know the company hands-on, if you will, and we did that for a couple months before we sort of started training and hiring and staffing up, and we've come a long way since then in the sense that we've have new hires underneath an operations manager, which sort of takes care of the day-to-day scheduling and sort of handles the hands-on marketing and things like that, which has gotten to be pretty nice. And the best way for that marketing is sort of with our business model is the guerrilla marketing. The things like our truck is sort of a giant orange small version of a dump truck, but it's very easy to spot, and using that as a sort of mobile billboard has been really helpful. And I'd say the truck can bring in sometimes 20% of our business in a month. And another thing is sort of the other guerrilla tactics, doing what we call morning waves, where you go to a busy intersection. We have a mascot named CJ and signs, and we'll hang out on different points in the intersection and wave at the traffic. And people usually honk, they'll laugh or say something, ask for a business card, maybe shoot the bird here and there. But it's helpful regardless. Any attention is good attention. And so we're able to do things like that in the morning and see jobs coming from it directly afterwards. And along with that is sort of branding, exposure, working with community organizations, schools, churches, things like that in the area. Just get our name out there, and they heighten our exposure. And another franchise has actually moved just north of us in the Plano area, so now there's 2 in the Metroplex, and that sort of doubles our marketing power.
Right. Do y'all do anything like online? Do you have like a website or?
We do. Website is 1-800-JUNK-USA. And another great way that we get business is just sort of word of mouth, people talking about us. And that's sort of what corporate has done a good job at, making sure that we've been on Oprah and Reader's Digest and a number of other different publications to make sure that we're out there. But we're definitely the best in the Metroplex. So.
That's cool.